Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive with Keeping Current Matters. It is Monday, January 10th, 2022. My name is Kate Rezabek, and I'm so thrilled to be here with you this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about affordability. So this is a real hot topic in real estate right now, and it's something that we follow very closely. If you follow along with KCM, we're constantly giving you updates on affordability. And most importantly today, we're going to talk about how to have conversations with your clients who are kind of pressing pause on their search because they're seeing prices rise, they're seeing mortgage rates rise, they're seeing talk of inflation, they're seeing all these things that are saying, I'm just not sure that I'm ready to buy. And, we're going to talk about what the data is saying and why, affordability is a big piece of the puzzle that we want to make sure everyone understands and can make powerful and confident decisions as, the market is changing and that word continues to come up. We want people to have confidence in what's truly happening and what the data is truly saying. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. We're going to talk about affordability, as I mentioned, and to kick things off, I think affordability really is a big concern for consumers right now. As I mentioned earlier, they're watching home price appreciation skyrocket. We've seen that consistently over the past year. And they're watching mortgage rates rise. Even just last week, Freddie Mac announced the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate ticked up to over 3.2%. And that is significantly higher than we've seen in recent months. So mortgage rates are rising, something that we knew was coming. Experts have been saying all along, it's going to start to happen. And we're seeing that creep up. Not super significant yet, but it's ticking upward. And as prices rise, that creates affordability concerns. So what I want to share with you today is the information that's going to help you have conversations with your clients to make sure they understand that homes are less affordable, but they're not unaffordable. And we have to compare that to the alternative, which is renting. So latest data coming at you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can start with this quote from Mark Fleming, chief economist at First American. It says, affordability sank to its lowest level since 2008. Higher mortgage rates and record year-over-year nominal house price growth triggered a nearly 20% jump in the RHPI. That's the Real House Price Index by First American. The soaring nominal house prices and uptick in mortgage rates swamped any affordability gains from the 3.6% yearly increase in household income. So what is this saying? It's saying with mortgage rates rising, with prices rising, even though income is rising too, homes are less affordable. And it's really important that we pause for a moment and kind of go over the affordability equation, because that's a big piece to understanding this. It's not just prices rising. So affordability is a combination of exactly what he's saying here: prices, mortgage rates, and wages. We have a great visual I want to show you on this next slide that's going to articulate what's happening when home prices continue to rise and mortgage rates rise, and we see that affordability start to change. So this is the Housing Affordability Index from NAR, and it goes all the way back to 1990. So what you can see here is the higher the bar, the more affordable homes are. You've seen this before if you're following along with KCM. Now, the blue bar is where we are today. It's a little bit lower than what you can see the year prior, 2020, 2019, you can see going all the way back to 2008. Homes are not as affordable as they were then. And look at those bars in orange. That's when the housing bubble burst. Of course, homes are not as affordable as they were when the housing bubble burst, because that's a very different market. It's not where we are today. It's not where we're going. But with mortgage rates rising and prices rising, homes are not as affordable. However, they are still more affordable than any time leading up to the housing crisis. And that's where you can see those lower bars between 1990 and 2008. So with mortgage rates rising, prices rising, we're starting to see that affordability equation tip a little bit. Not unaffordable, but less affordable. So let me show you another quote on what we're talking about here. It says the average wage earner can still afford the typical home across the US, but the financial comfort zone continues shrinking as home prices keep soaring upward and mortgage rates tick upward. Okay, so as home prices continue to rise, what we're talking about is the comfort zone of affordability is shrinking to the average consumer. They're hearing these things and they're thinking, I don't feel like homes are as affordable. And that is what the data is showing. But what I want to share with you is what's happening when we look at what lender standards are saying as well, because that helps kind of paint this picture of affordability. So this is the percent of income that it takes to purchase a home, and it's still within the guidelines of what lenders recommend. So this is really important to understand. Let me break it down for you. What you can see over in this green bar on the left is that lenders recommend that a home buyer keeps their monthly mortgage payment 28% or less of their monthly income. So no more than 28% of their monthly income should go towards their principal and interest. And what we can see today is that number is creeping up. So look at Q4 2020, the second bar in. It only took 21.5% of someone's monthly income to purchase, if they're making the median income, to purchase the median priced home. That's before mortgage rates ticked up. That's before prices accelerated at such a rapid rate. So homes were more affordable at the end of 2020. Q3 2021, we can see that number is jumping. And of course, end of last year, Q4, it took 25.2% of someone's monthly income to make a mortgage payment. Now, why is this important? We talked about that comfort zone shrinking. However, that 25.2% is well below the industry guidelines for what is affordable. And that's what we have to help potential buyers understand, is that homes may be less affordable, but they're not unaffordable. And that's that combination of prices, mortgage rates, and wages coming together. So while it may feel like it's not as affordable, we know that the data is showing that we're still within the guidelines. And you know, what we really have to think about is those people who are sitting there and they're saying, I'm going to wait. I probably could buy this year, but I'm not sure. I want to see what happens with the market. If they're pressing pause and still renting, it's really important that we share this message that owning is more affordable than renting, because that's the alternative, right? Now, in 58% of counties, a median priced home is more affordable than the average rent on a 3-bedroom property. Think about that for a moment. The median priced home is more affordable than the average rent on a 3-bedroom property. So if someone's purchasing the median priced home, that is more affordable than renting a 3-bedroom property in the majority of the country. That means major home ownership expenses consume a smaller portion of average local wages than renting. That's huge. That means home ownership is more affordable. Homeownership is more affordable in most of the country as it was in 2021, following another year when the benefits of rising wages and super low mortgage rates counteracted the effects of home prices spiking. So this is mission critical information to make sure that those who are renting truly understand that even though they're feeling it's not affordable to buy, it actually is more affordable than renting. Let's take a look at this quote, another one from Adam Data. It says, homeownership still remains the more affordable option for average workers in a majority of the country because it still takes up a smaller portion of their pay. That's exactly what we were showing you before. And, you know, I think this next image that I'm going to pop up on the screen is really the game changer. This is the one you want to get out there because it really shows how much rents have been increasing very recently. So take a look at this. Rents continue to skyrocket. This is the year-over-year percent single-family rent growth measured in October of each year, and it goes back to 2010. And what you can see here is that it was kind of humming along for a good 10 years. Rent increases were staying pretty consistent, rising, but not significantly. And then look what happened in 2020 and 2021. Rent increases skyrocketed. And so for someone who's thinking about continuing to rent, continuing to just say, hey, I think this is probably where I want to stay for a little while and just see what happens. The investment in home ownership, if they're informed and understand all of the benefits, can really be their game changer. And that's exactly what we want to share. Reason being, this also from CoreLogic, this is from Molly Bozel, and it says single family rent growth hits its 6th consecutive record high, and annual rent growth was more than 3 times that of a year earlier. Rent growth should continue to be robust in the near term, especially as the labor market continues to improve. So what does this mean? Rent growth continues to break records, and it's not really projected to slow down anytime soon. So as rent continues to increase, you think about those homeowners that are sitting there trying to save for a down payment, invest in home ownership, or maybe even aren't really sure if home ownership is right for them. What's important for them to understand is that continuing to put your money into rent really changes the long-term game, and it's just getting more and more expensive. And, one thing we haven't talked about today is equity growth. And talk about the record amounts of equity that homeowners have gained over the past year. End of last year, CoreLogic just announced that the average homeowner gained $56,700 in equity. That is massive. And renters don't gain that. They don't earn that forced savings back into their long-term investment. So really important that renters understand the benefits of buying before prices rise, before mortgage rates rise even further. And we know everyone purchases at different times for different reasons, and we have to take that into account. But when we can share this information and help people feel confident, feel knowledgeable, able to make a powerful decision based on what the data is saying and what the projections show, that is huge. And that is the message we want to make sure that we can share today. So I'm going to pause right here and see if Jessica has any comments that have come in through the chat that we can answer for you this morning.
Hi, Kate. So we did have just a couple of questions. The first one I saw was from Jimmy. He asked, what is attached versus detached meaning?
Sure, absolutely, Jimmy. That's a great question. All of our resources have the source links back in the slide, so you can go back and look at that in more depth. But, think of single family home, unattached in your neighborhood, attached home, multiple homes together. That's how the data breaks down.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. And then the second question I saw was from Asia. It says, what does ATOM stand for? ATTOM.
Yes, absolutely. That is a name of one of the resources that we follow. That is a huge industry leader in the real estate market. So another great one to go back, look at their website and see all the data and the information that they put together, ATOM Data Solutions.
Awesome. Those were the only 2 questions I saw.
Well, wonderful questions. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and have a great rest of your week.